Sue are together, and a question has just come through on the Facebook group, so we thought we'd just have 5 minutes and talk through it.
And answer it on a video.
Why not?
Yeah. So the question was from Vanessa, who's only just started RPM, having some teething difficulties, so we thought this might well apply to other people as well. She's been doing sessions on a couch, but it was difficult to get him to sit up straight, etc. So now she's trying at the table. Now, the first issues that she's having are with his posture and his sitting, his body becoming limp. He's trying to lean on her or against the wall, or else he's trying to stand up on the chair or stand on the table. So Alex, first of all, could you talk to us a little bit about this limpness and the leaning and stuff?
So it is difficult, and I remember when I first started working with somebody who do the same thing, just kind of almost collapse onto you. And I probably spent about 10 minutes getting this boy to just do one thing. So the first thing is actually try to keep the session going. So even though he's really limp, maybe he's not easily responding, try to have a bit of pace to the session nonetheless. So if somebody was really limp with me, I'd find a way to keep it moving, even if they just had to touch one letter of the board. Maybe the board would be very, very close to the person. Maybe I'd kind of have the choices a lot closer, like, go on, just grab it. And if they didn't, I'd say, oh, I could see you were going there. And I'd just create the feeling of success and progress. Because otherwise, there's nothing more tedious for the student to feel like, oh gosh, 10 minutes later, and she's still asking me the same question. So you have to kind of create that kind of feeling of pace. Practically speaking, I would actually stand up so that the student wasn't able to kind of go limp on you. So I'd be standing away like this. And then let's say you just slump over somehow. Like, I don't know how far he slumps really. But I'd kind of probably be a bit more in front of the student with either the choices or the stencil. And let's say if he was like trying to come on to you, I'd just be like, oh, hang on. And the wall I'd probably accept because that's a bit easier for you to deal with. Otherwise you're going to end up kind of being a secondary chair for the person. You could say, I'm not a chair.
What's interesting is that, he's got to learn the skill of sitting.
Yeah.
This is a life skill, and it'd be interesting to know really whether he sits okay to eat his dinner and stuff like this, or whether this is actually an avoidance behaviour. Who knows?
Some people do that. They walk into the room and they've got such good control, and then and you're like, oh. Now, what I'd also do is I'd start creating some lessons around what's happening. So let's say if you came into a session with me and slumped, I'd say, wow, when I saw you then, I thought, this person does not have any bones. B-O-N-E-S, bones. What did I think? You don't have any bones or any cells. Bones. And why would I think that you didn't have any bones? Because you're all slumped over, because you're standing up straight. So I'd create a bit of a lesson. Now, number one, it will actually help you kind of desensitise to the situation yourself and feel a bit less kind of annoyed about it, because you'll feel like you're having a bit of a joke about it. And number two, for the student, it actually brings a bit of reasoning into the equation. So at the point they're just very sensory, very limp. But if you're kind of adding some facts into the situation, you're kind of taking them to a different part of the brain where they're kind of having to think again. And you can do that even with, you're all slumping down on this chair. Now, did you know the chair was invented in this way so that the person would have to lean back and sit? Let's talk about when the chair was invented. It's such a good invention.
I mean, you will have seen Sam as she talks about, you can do a whole lesson plan on a chair.
Oh,
just the word chair.
Why does a chair have 4 legs? Let's see what happens if you had 3. Let's make a chair. Ooh, see? And you can kind of go off like that, but that will definitely, key with these type of students is to add a lot more humour into a situation, because if the student sees that you're stressed by it, it just makes it so much worse. If they can say, oh, well, Mom's still having a good time, so they're kind of like, oh, okay, she's not bothered.
Yeah. And this business about the other thing that you put was that he might try to stand up on the chair or stand up on the table. I mean, make sure that you've managed and prepared the environment to try and minimise that from happening, so that, the chair is tucked into the table, so it's not easy for him just to get up and stand up.
It does depend really, because I've got some people who kind of, they'll just go to stand up and maybe stand on the chair. But if you kind of go, come on, you know, they're fine then. But some people, let's say maybe who are a little bit more like violent, let's say, you might not want to kind of get in the way as much, so you might kind of allow them to stand on the chair and keep working. But the most important thing is that you kind of keep the session going. You don't want, like if you have a 20-minute session, you don't want 15 minutes of it to be you trying to sort out a behaviour. So always try and just keep the session going and try and kind of deal with the behaviour kind of in the background. So, you're standing on the table now, let's spell that. I've never seen somebody stand on a table before. What should you do on a table? We should, eat. Or we should. Yeah. And why would it not be a good thing to stand on a table? Because on your feet, you're going to spread some germs or spread some sauce, And so then you can have a bit more fun again and you won't feel so like, oh, my son is on the table.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that this comes really easy to Alex, and you might think, oh my God, I wouldn't be able to think that fast. Well, to be honest, I wouldn't be able to think that fast either of, I need to adapt my lesson and start, asking all of these things. But you can think about it in advance.
Exactly.
Now you know what the behaviours are.
Just use all these ideas.
You can take these ideas and you can think, okay, what sort of things could I say about the table? What sort of things could I say about the chair? And you can plan it all in advance.
Yeah, and definitely for me it wasn't, I wasn't born this way, but what I've definitely learned through doing RPM is a lot of people overcomplicate things. But if you just actually look at somebody and they're slumped, actually, they look like they don't have any bones. If they stand on a table, you can literally say, oh, look where you're standing on the table. Do you think that's the usual place one would stand? Yeah. So you're almost kind of having a natural conversation about what a person's doing. Like if your husband stood on the table,
you'd say, what are you doing?
Why are you on the table? I don't think that's where you should stand. Do you want to come down?
Okay, anyway, so they're the first points. The second point was this business about the pencil grip, throwing the pencil when prompted. So she's having difficulty getting, we haven't got pencils, getting him to actually hold the pencil and grip it. She describes it as a very loose, non-grip. Yeah. So she said she places the fingers around the pencil. Can you just go, I know we've talked about this in another video about how you...
So what you do is make sure it's under this first finger here, and this tends to be a good grip for most people. So you're placing it just for the benefit of everyone really. Placing the kind of end of the pencil there, first finger over. Then I give a good squeeze. Now in the case of your son, if he's very limp, you're probably maybe using the 3 stencils, but we don't have that to hand. And to be honest, in the beginning, you're teaching the skill of him just pushing a letter. You're not teaching the skill of let's go to A, where's the E. You're just teaching a very specific skill. So if you need to at the moment, put the letter right in front. Let's say you're going to stitch A. Go for it. A, done. And take it away very, very quickly. Hi, Grace.
Hiya.
Grace has just come down.
All right, we'll be 1 minute.
Do you want to sit down for a sec?
Yeah. She's not in the chair. We'll just be 1 minute, yeah.
So just focus on the skill of him pushing and not letting go. So you're looking at this as a very focused skill. Obviously, you're not going to be doing this forever, but you're just working on him holding the pencil at the moment. Now, if he starts to throw it a lot, now number 1, try and be a bit faster. I know it's hard, but you always have to expect it to happen each time. Yeah. So I'd be kind of holding the pencil, but I'd be putting the stencil up here, and if I could feel he was about to throw it, even before he switched the stencil, I'd say, hang on, we're going to be very serious. Which one? Hey, good. And I'd just kind of make it so fast. And then if he was going to throw it after, I'd take it away. Now, if he did throw it, I might just say something like, wow, now you have to do it with your finger for a while, and that will be very hard. Let's give that finger a squash now. This is how you do it, with just the finger. Now try and do it by yourself. Yeah? If you throw the pencil, the consequence sometimes will be that we have to just use a finger. Okay? Alright.
Yeah.
Well, we hope that helped. We just waffle on about anything, and then some people might find it useful, some people probably think we're just...